All right, welcome to Lesson Plans to Laces, the podcast where we take sneaker culture and educational topics and blend them together. With me today, I've got Teacher Heat. Mr. Guzman, talked about yourself a little bit for us.
So I am Mr. Guzman. I am a special education teacher, elementary special education teacher in Los Angeles. I've been teaching for full-time 5 years in the education career for 8. Before that, I was a behaviorist. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad that I got this DM and we're ready to roll.
Yeah, man, dude, it's a wild DM. But before we get into how we met, I am James. I am It's Alidor across all social media channels, and my background to kind of help out with this on the lesson plans to laces is that I'm a former teacher now, but I've been in the game for 18 years. I've been teaching since 2008, which is crazy. Like that's a long, long time in the game. But I've taught English across all grade levels of high school, and yeah, it's been a wild ride, but. Yeah, this has been a side project that I've wanted to do with you for a little while. Like, thanks for hitting me up on the DM and actually getting with it.
Yeah, no, I I did podcasting. I told you way back in the day, but you hit me up, and I was just like, I'm not gonna say no because I know when people do something like this, they definitely want to get it to succeed. So I just said yes, and let's see what we can do.
Yeah, man, and dude, it's cool. I really like and you guys listening definitely. If you haven't had a chance to check out Teacher Heat on Instagram, and you have TikTok too, right, Goose?
Yeah, I have TikTok as well. I usually post the same things on there. TikTok, Instagram, Teacher Heat, and Teachers with Heat. I have them both. I post fit pics on there. I guess there would be editorials on what's happening on school. I really lean towards being an educator because I think that's the most important thing to try to empower educators. But I'm also myself as a sneakerhead, Mexican. You see my Mexico jersey, and a Southern California boy. So I want to, I want people to see all those things into one educator.
Yeah, man, no, that's awesome. How did you get into ed? Like, what is your origin story? And then we can definitely talk sneakers in a second. But what's your origin story in ed?
My origin story. So I was working insurance
Oh, no
at
way.
Geico, and I was doing well at Geico. I we opened up the business together. It wasn't my business, but I got hired in, and within the first month, I was the top salesman on all of the West Coast.
Okay, okay.
So I was doing something that I was technically really good at, but I worked there a year, and then with when you work, what is it called? I forgot. What type of work? When you get paid by like not quotas.
Oh, contract?
No, not contract.
No?
When you work off commission. You might want to
Oh,
edit
okay.
that out.
Commissions. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When you work off commission, you have to hit goals. So I was hitting these high lofty goals, but each goal, because you're working off commission, you have to hit more and more goals.
Yeah.
So that in itself was like super stressful, to the point where I just didn't like working anymore. So I went up to my boss and I was like, "Hey, I can't do this commission thing. I have like anxiety, stress. Like, if one month you're selling 100 policies and the next month you sold 10, your check is gonna fluctuate like crazy."
Yeah.
So I told him, I was like, "Hey, I want something more stable," and he said no, because working off commission is kind of like that carrot, right? That motivation, which is
Yeah.
what we'll talk about later too. And I basically told him, you know what? I don't like the way I'm feeling. I quit. That was my 2 weeks notice. So
Man.
I went into one of my friends. He was a behaviorist working for children with autism, and everyone had told me I would be a good teacher, but I was, I'm egotistical. I'm a little bit narcissistic, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do what you guys tell me to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I want to do, and I don't
Okay.
want to be a teacher. So I held it off, and once I knew exactly what I didn't want to do, I was like, man, let me just kind of swallow my ego a little bit and put it off to the side. Let me see if what these people see in me is true. So I went and applied as a behavior interventionist for children with autism because I figured these are the kids who everyone says are the hardest to deal with. And if I could deal with them, I can deal with any kid. So I
Okay.
went, started working there, and I hit it off. It was something that was very natural, easy to do, and I could just I didn't feel that stress of the quotas and all that stuff, so it was super easy. Actually, the first day I started working, I had a little kid, and he hucked a loogie on my face, and there was just spit going down my face, and then he punched me in the groin. Yeah, I
What a
mean that's just
welcome.
that welcome to the league moment, right? And my supervisor, who was there with me at the time, because they had to kind of train me a little bit, he looked
Yeah.
at me like I was gonna walk off, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I think I could do this for a very long time." Because it didn't feel like I felt. I was like, as long as I don't have to sell anything, I'm good.
Okay.
So I'm doing that. I'm going there, and I was gonna become a behaviorist at that point.
Yeah.
But one day I was working in the classroom, applying these strategies to these kids with autism or with special needs. And the teacher's going through a lesson, and the lesson sucks. It's a bad lesson. She's
Yeah.
misspelling words on the board. I'm,
Oh no.
I'm like, what's going on? And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, she's like affecting all these kids' lives. And I'm only affecting one because I can go and tell my kid, like, hey, she spelled it wrong. Hey, this is actually the real history. Kind of being an educator at that point, but she's doing it to like 25 other kids, right?
Yeah.
And that really changed my perspective and my focus because at that point I was like, no, I need to go become an educator so that I can affect all these kids' lives for what I think is the better, right? So I pivoted from that. I went and became a substitute teacher while trying to get my credential.
Okay.
Um, I hit it off being a substitute to where I was going to go back to school, and I instead went into the intern program. And then I didn't even have to go to school. I just started working as a teacher right after.
Oh, dude, that's cool.
Um, so I just kind of, but I mean, most people would have been thrown into the fire, but I was already in the fire. So I came out of it. I came out of it ready. They
Yeah.
told me, "What do you want to do?" I could have done dual language because I have a master's in dual language, and
Okay.
um, they said, do you want to do a dual language or do you want to stay with your class?" Because I was working with a special education class.
Yeah.
And I love those boys. And I was like, I'm doing really good work here. The parents love it. I love it. It doesn't feel like work. These kids are prospering. Let me just stay with them.
Okay.
And so instead of going to the dual language route, I went the special education route. And that's where I've been since.
Dude, okay. Dude, that's wild. I love that story, man. That's cool. But so the loogie on the face on first day, like that's
First,
crazy.
first
Like you said,
day, yeah.
so welcome to the league, dude. I don't think I have had that kind of welcome to the league moment. Like that might have had me running out the room like immediately.
So let me tell you, the same kid, right? So, um, some of the kids would try to bite you, right? They'll try to scratch you. So what you do then is you wear like really long sleeve stuff. So that's where my like addiction to hoodies comes from, right?
Okay.
So you'd wear big hoodies because then they wouldn't know where to bite you, right? They would
Oh,
kind
that's
of just be
wild.
biting at the loose cloth, right? So I'm wearing these really loose hoodies, and we go outside because he's having a moment, and I'm like, hey, we need to just go relax outside, right? We need to take
Yeah.
some time.
Yeah.
And he's kicking me, and I'm blocking him. He's a little kid. He's 5. He's not gonna hurt me, right? I'm blocking him. I'm doing all this stuff. Well, he starts getting angrier and angrier, and I'm trying to de-escalate.
Okay. Yeah.
And the hoodies have those little the pull strings.
Yeah.
So he grabbed onto both pull strings, right? And I'm like, "What are you gonna do, dude? You're 5. I'll pick you up right now." Right? So I move my head back to pull him up, and he lifts himself off the ground like a swing. And I went like this straight down because it was too much weight. So I go down almost like I'm bowing. And as I'm bowing, he uppercut me right in the face, right? And so, again, another welcome to the league moment. Um,
he had you clocked, man. Like if he knew he could pull, and I mean that's like some expert level moves right there.
yeah. So then what do? I get home and my wife. I get home and I start taking the drawstrings off every hoodie I own.
Oh man,
And
okay,
my wife was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "He got me once. He ain't getting me again." So the very next day we go back and he's doing the same thing. I'm like, we got to go outside, dude. And he
yeah,
goes for the drawstrings, and I'm like, they're not there no more, dude. so
man,
so it was,
outsmarted.
but I love that. It's almost like Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, like just back and forth. Like they're gonna find something, you're gonna find something, and then you kind of progress through it. And
Yeah,
now it's kind of the same thing, but with educating them. It's a little bit easier when you're a teacher as opposed to a behaviorist because you really have a lot more to offer. You get to build a strong rapport with the parents, but really them understanding that you can educate them really does get them buy-in already, as
okay,
opposed to
yeah.
before where you're just like, this guy's gonna make you behave. Like, oh no, I'm not.
Yeah, I worked with a department chair once who told me he made a goal when he was a kid that you can't teach me anything, and you're not going to teach. He almost made it his goal, and so I thought that was really interesting perspective because I was not that kid growing up, man. Like I was not that kid that was antagonistic at teachers. It just was not my thing. So to hear that angle on it, like I get it. I've been in the game long enough, but whew, man, that's tough. So but do you keep the hoodies and the do you have the drawstrings in any of your hoodies still, or do you
I
have
do
you put
have.
them back in?
I put them back in. I get them now and put them back in. I don't have to worry about the same thing anymore.
Yeah,
Uh, I've learned. I've progressed. I have a lot of motivational strategies. Um, this could be our segue into first day procedures. Like,
yeah.
you know,
Oh, for sure. I mean, with this being our podcast and our first day, like absolutely, you gotta have procedures in class, man. Like I know at my level, if you don't have like some kind of set goal or set agenda, then it can devolve into chaos, right? Like what's that like on your level? If you don't, do you set agendas with your students, or do you like what is it that you do with your students to let them on the right path?
yeah. So I mean, when I start, I've been taught that you want to set procedures and structure and routine for the first month of the school
Yeah.
year. However, I literally will not start teaching until I get my classroom under control.
Okay.
Like, I don't care if it takes a month, 2 months, 3 months. Like, I will not teach until we are good to go. Because, um, from my experience, what happens is teachers are under so much stress to teach to content standards and curriculum and keep up the pace
Yeah.
that they just move forward without setting all these boundaries and routines and goals and you know what you need to do and what the expectations are,
Mhm.
that the students don't know what they are, and you're just trying to pace through everything, teach them as much as you can, and you just start hitting walls, right? Because the kids don't know what they need to do. So I'm of the expectation where I'm gonna do it for at least a month. I'm gonna be educating, but some days aren't gonna be as much as the next because we're not there yet. By the end of the year, we will be there because I know it's gonna work because it's worked already numerous years, right?
Yeah.
And as a special education teacher, which is what I say in all my videos, right? I always got to throw that in there. As a special education teacher, behaviors and routines are so critical to what you're doing because a lot of the special needs kids have a lot of behaviors and need those routines. So we're not moving forward until we get those things. A lot of teachers think that that's just a special needs thing, and it's not.
Nah.
Every kid could benefit from it. It's even easier for those kids, but because they come in with this, like, they already know, they don't teach that, and then they end up running through walls later and hitting brick walls, right? Trying to educate their classes, because they haven't set those expectations.
Yeah. No, and that's super important. I like how you said it's not just a special education thing because any of my students that are about to listen to this will tell you that we start our class all the way the same way every time. There's always a slide on our board that says success today means, and then we go through our agenda and we read them out loud, we talk about it, we go through what we're going to do today, And sometimes we might make those goals, like we might actually hit all. Maybe there's 5 or 6 of them, right? We might hit all 6. Maybe we get through 5 of them, and I go, okay, I was ambitious today, so 6 is going to move to tomorrow. It's going to be the thing we lead off with, right? So it actually helps at this level. Like my experience is in the AP and the GT classroom, the dual credit room, and man, those students are incredibly bright. They're incredibly capable. They're incredibly motivated, but they also need those boundaries to know, hey, we have to lock in and do this stuff. And then we can have like some gaps where, yeah, like you said, you're educating all the time, but I'm also doing the life lessons and the stuff in between, and we're building the rapport along the way. But you're right, like I have to have the room ready to go before we can actually like do anything that's academic or even fun. Like we got to have like some kind of like, hey man, call to attention. Like let's get this show on the road.
Yeah, and in the special needs, special education world, we I call that priming. We call that priming, which
Okay.
essentially letting the students know what we're going to do before we do it, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm priming them at the beginning of the day, right? They're in line, and I'm going, okay, today we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and
Yeah.
that's what we're going to do. And then when we start the lesson, this lesson is going to do this, this is going to do this, going to do this, and then we're hitting those the same way you're doing it. But I'm priming them to get ready to what they're going to do, right? So it's not a shock when we move from one thing to the other, right? When we're changing that routine. Okay, remember I said we were going to do this, then this. So now we're at that part. What do we do after? You do this. So if you're ahead, you go into that part, right? So we do that with everything. I mean, one of my hardest things to deal with, especially when I was working in self-contained classes, um, was fire alarms.
Oh
Like I
man.
know they're supposed to be, like you're never supposed to know so that you can prepare for it. But my students, you're gonna make it a hard day on myself if I don't know that there's a fire alarm
Sure.
or an earthquake drill,
Yeah.
because I need to prime them for that. I need to tell them, hey guys, it's going to get loud today. All right. Let me get these headphones out. Let me get this stuff out for you guys so that you guys don't have these behaviors that I know you will have.
Mm-mm.
And a lot of the time, sometimes admin will be like, no, we need to prepare for these things by being random. And that is perfectly true. But at that point, that rest of the day is gone
Yeah.
because it's going to take me an hour and a half to get them back because they are overstimulated,
If
right?
you want,
You,
yeah,
you didn't
if
go
you want
ahead.
to talk about one thing that throws off a whole classroom day, man, it is fire alarms and drills. It's crazy because I'm down in Texas, and you said earthquake drills. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, that's right. Cali's got to worry about earthquakes, but nah, it is absolutely a day ruiner, right? Not cut you off, and
Yeah,
I didn't mean to, but yeah,
no, that's
it's a
fine.
day
Like
ruiner.
it's a day ruiner even for Gen Ed, right? Like
Yeah,
the same thing. But so sometimes I have to kind of take like, you know, talk to the principals and say, hey, and I know we need to be prepared, but at the same time, like this just took the whole day. Like I had kids in there screaming, they thought it was real, you know. Very
yeah,
hard to deal with some of these behaviors sometimes when it's like a random day and the the bell goes off, and those things are loud because they have to be.
yeah,
But my kids get overstimulated by that. So it's like sometimes you have to advocate for them and that's where priming comes in, right?
for
Hey,
sure.
today we're going to have a fire drill. It's going to get loud. Let's prepare for it. You know, hour before that, remember, in an hour we're going to have a fire drill. Remember, their headphones are there. 10 minutes before, hey, in 10 minutes we're going to have a fire drill. Remember. And I know it sounds like, why do you have to do this? Because it makes your life easier.
Yeah,
And it doesn't work. It doesn't just work with special education. You can do it with any kids, right? And that's where my expertise now has led me into co-teaching with other teachers and them kind of understanding that, oh, these strategies work anywhere, right? um, there's strategies you use to accommodate special needs kids, but sometimes gen ed kids have some needs as well. So that's where I'm at now, co-teaching and helping all kids, not just special needs kids.
dude, that's awesome because when you talk about the co-teach model and how you're not reminding, but like pointing out the fact that some of these strategies. Matter of fact, a lot of these strategies actually will work across the board. It's not a special education thing or a gen ed thing or a GT thing. Like you can use a lot of these strategies, and so I think priming is a great way to put it, right? Because they need to know what they're doing. They need to know the students need to have like a guide and a map. If you keep everything random, I mean, then it's going to have a little bit of chaos. And I mean, even as an adult, like I know, like it's summer. I have enjoyed my summer. I protect my summers for sure. And so when my wife goes to leave for work in the morning, like she kind of has like a, hey, don't forget about this, don't forget about this, and then she'll go and like start getting ready for work, and then she'll come back and remind me again a little bit later because I'm figuring out my agenda for the day. Where do I need to fit in the things that she told me about, right? So even as an adult, like I still think that that's a helpful thing, right?
Yeah, and that's sometimes where I need to come from. Like, hey, do you like some of these things? Because I don't myself.
Yeah,
Sometimes, I get agitated. So why are we going to expect more from these kids than I would from anybody else? That's unfair, right?
yeah,
To not have a routine because that's what you need and to accommodate that, but not accommodate it for some of these students, including Gen Ed students, it never sits right. So sometimes it's teaching, sometimes it's advocating, but it always comes from love and to move these kids forward.
for sure. It's and it's about trying to make the program or whatever school you're at run a little bit more smoothly, right? Because if everybody starts to adopt some of that stuff, it can really even if it's little pieces, right? Like if the majority of the English team or the fifth grade team picks up priming and uses it with diligence, then man, you guys can grow. Yeah, you can accelerate some growth. You can actually teach some things, and then once you've taught and worked on the academic stuff, you can then work on the social things, the behavior stuff. Like it allows you to go hand in hand, right? So
Yep.
yeah,
100%. And I know there's going to be some teachers like, do this dude must get behind all the time because he's like not teaching to the, curriculum and he's not keeping pace. But in reality, what happens is that if you don't set those goals and those expectations, you end up getting behind because you're having to reteach a lot of it because they're not ready for it.
oh yeah,
So if you are teaching when the kids are ready, you actually keep up with that pace. So don't think it's like, oh man, this dude must always be behind. No, you're getting them ready and then you're giving quality instruction off of that to the point where you're getting so ahead that people don't even know how you did it. But you did it because you set these routines and expectations early and you kept up until you got the classroom ready.
for sure. And the audience of this podcast is going to be some students, of course, because like I know a lot of my following is my students, former students, current students, et cetera, and like other teachers too, right? Because both teachers follow our accounts, and so I think it's kind of cool that letting them see behind the curtain almost, right? Like this is what Oz is actually like for it, right? Yeah, no, you're being primed. You're being told what to do so that we can move you quicker. And I always use the phrase like an on ramp. And so I teach upper grades. They most of them can drive; they're of driving age, and I try to explain to them the metaphor of an on ramp, which is weird because teenagers are not the greatest drivers, and so I'm trying to tell them like, hey, an on ramp is not like you slowing up. You should be accelerating. You should be moving to get on the interstate, right? And I try and tell them like what we do at the beginning of the year feels slow because it's supposed to be an on ramp so that we're doing 80 when we enter the interstate. We're not doing 45 and having people get around us and people honk at you. No, like we should be able to move pretty quick. And I like how you called it reteaching. But I think if there was advice to give to new teachers, man, that would be one of the first things is find what procedures you have and make it work just with diligence, right?
Yeah, I mean, I always say slow it down. Just slow it down. You a lot of teachers come in and they just need to go, right? They're like, "Oh, I'm getting behind." No, slow it down. Get to where you're okay teaching and you're comfortable with your setting and your students are comfortable and then go. Don't just come in and hit the ground running. You're talking about the off ramp. Yeah, you got to be at a certain speed to get on there, right?
Yeah,
You don't just start at zero and try to get on that thing. Slow it down, and if you slow it down later on, you can speed it up because they're prepared for it.
yeah,
So you got to get them prepared, but you got to prepare yourself. And you bring up teachers and students following us, but we also have a lot of parents, right?
yeah.
And all these strategies can work for parents too. right? Special needs parents in particular, they're always asking me for strategies. Well, how does he behave in your class? But I'm having trouble at home. I'm setting expectations. You know, I'm doing all these things that I not only have I been taught, but that I follow through on.
Yeah.
And it's not like I have a magic stick, right? Like I'm just like, oh, I cure all special needs.
No,
No, we're holding these students, even the special needs ones, accountable, setting these high expectations for them. Sometimes a high expectation is just them sitting in their seats for 5 minutes, but that is high. That's still high for them. You guys need to do the same. So even parents can benefit from this.
for sure. And I like how you talked about like sometimes the goal looks a little bit different, right? It's not always an academic goal. One of my favorite parts of the success today means or the priming on my end is if we're going to play like a game, for example, because I like to use Jenga as a review. And the second that, because kids are reading these out loud, remember? And I'll call on a kid. I'll be like, Johnny, read success number 5. And he's like, students today will play Jenga. And like, he gets like super excited about it. And like, that that's when it's fun when you're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this today. So it is cool, but again, they gotta know, right? Like there's got to be a payoff, right? And I think that that's like again, first day of school is today's episode title, like procedures, man. Like that's a thing that you've got to nail just on the first day, but then reteaching it throughout
Yeah, so
is super important.
I mean, off of first day of school, like, we are both sneakerheads too.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, that's something that's very unique about us. We are both sneakerheads. I mean, you talk about jerseys. I'm in the fitteds, but we are a streetwear wearing uh, teachers. Me probably more so because I'm in the public school setting, and I know you have to adhere to some standards. That's not to say that I don't. Right. That's not to say that it's different. But there are a little bit of differences. But what is? How did you get into sneaker collecting?
Oh man, the origin story for me on sneakers. So, uh, as a kid, I idolized Allen Iverson as a basketball player, and so I always had like I'm a kid of the '90s. I born in '84. I got to see Jordan play, and so my origin story on sneakers is that I liked the swagger that Allen Iverson brought to like his personal life, to the game, and so I always had that like in the back of my mind. Flash forward. I'm in college. You got college kid money, so you're barely scraping together like money for burgers or whatever. Uh, Graduate, teacher salary, not great at the time. Like we're talking 2008, so not the greatest of money. Plus, I had some student loans, so we're gonna keep moving on the timeline and hit maybe about 2014, 2015, where I did start putting together some fits that kids would notice it was when I was teaching out in Las Vegas around 2014, 2015, and or really, sorry, let me rephrase that, about 2011, 2012. And so kids started noticing. Like I had a couple of pairs of KDs, some Kobe's, some things like that, and they're like, okay, because I really like bright colors, and the more that I could bring in colors and bring in color theory, kids would notice, right? And so it became kind of a thing that I had like a nice like 10 or 12 pair rotation. And so kids would notice. And so I moved to Texas in 2013 and I add to the collection a little bit. I think at this point I was probably around like maybe 30 pairs, which to some people listen to this podcast will be like, oh, that's a lot of pairs of sneakers. But to the average sneakerhead, 30 is like a rotation. Like that's, yeah, nah, that's slight. 30 is slight in the rotation game. And so I started picking up some more pairs here and there because kids were noticing. And they're like, oh, we've seen those before. Those are really cool. And so I would pick up some more here and there. And I didn't realize how much my kids had noticed in the game until there was a year where a set of students in my last period class at one of my campuses. So the origin of like what kicks off the collection into its heaviest, which my collection now is probably around 300 some odd pairs. So the thing that like kicks it into high gear of like, this is how my students see me, and this is something that I like. My father passed away in 2019, and I went home to care for him on hospice around that time. And I had not told my campus, my students, a whole lot because I did not want them to be super worried about like what was happening. And for a couple of my classes, they had the AP test coming, and so I did not want them to think that this was going to derail them. I wanted them locked in and focused, right? And so even while I was in my hometown, I was still doing digital lessons, things of that nature, right? And so I came back after the funeral and everything, and my seventh period class, I did not know that this was happening, but they had teamed up with my next door neighbor teacher and had bought, they had pulled their money and they had bought me a pair of the Air Max 95 City Series. The Houston, it's the white one that's got the screws on it. And they presented it to me in class. And I was just like in awe, like tears. It was a thing. Uh, and that's when I realized, like, well, this is actually, first of all, an amazing gesture, a phenomenal thing to do. And I did not know that that's how they saw me. And so that's the thing that kind of kicked this into like, well, they know who I am now, right? So if you combine the like love of the swagger and the bright colors and then bringing it into the classroom as like a way to build rapport, man, the kids seeing it that way was what kicked off the collection. And so I've made it a point to try and at least intentionally build fits every day because that's how kids see it now, and at least on my end. So, but that's really like the event that kicked it off.
No, yeah, I mean that's how the teacher he named started. Essentially the same way. We talk about origin stories, but I was doing um, substitute teaching in a high school, and I went up to one of the kids, and he was doing a worksheet because that's what his teacher wanted him to do,
Yeah.
and he was wearing a Supreme 97s,
Okay.
the Supreme Air Max 97s, the gray and navy pair,
Yeah.
and he was wearing those. I was like, "Yo, I love your shoes," and he's like, he looks at me. No, no, sorry, that kid. I'm going to sidetrack. That kid, I talked about his shoes, and he was like, "Yeah, I got them back in the day." So we're building a rapport. So I go to another kid, and he has wave runners on,
Okay. The Yeezys. Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he had the wave runners, the 700s, right? Um, and they're 700s, right? I'm pretty sure.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I go up to him and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll build rapport real quick. And so I go up to him. I was like, "Hey, nice shoes," and he goes, "Because we got it like that, unlike teachers." And I was like, "Whoa!" Because at that point I was suited. I had the tie on.
Okay.
I was substitute teacher Guzman, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow because it's a multiple day thing." I came back. I had uh off white tens Prestos. And I said, "All right, what's going on?" And they were just like, "Wait, you have those on?" And that's when I kind of knew, like, okay, this is easy now. At that point, I was going to quit. I couldn't build rapport. It was too hard. I was too um like rigid in what I was doing. I wasn't taking it very serious either. I
Yeah.
didn't really understand what I could offer to the kids, even as a sub, right? As a sub, I would just sit there and just wait till the period to be over. And it wasn't until later on when I was becoming a teacher finally that I was like, oh wait, I could teach here because this is what they got me for. So then I'd take like the books and read it with them, and then like, okay, you guys know about this because I know about it. Let me teach you guys some other stuff. And that was when it became easy. It wasn't just me going through the motions. It was me becoming the teacher he Guzman that is now, where I had the shoes on. I was giving them some type of education. They knew I could do that for them, and
Okay.
building that rapport is what got me started at that point.
Yeah, and you talk about like it was hard to build rapport, right? We talk about first day of school stuff and segueing into sneakers. And to me, the sneakers are part of the first day of school thing because first of all, you have to have a fire pair to wear on day one. You have to bring it on day one, if nothing else, so that people notice. But also, it lends itself to, hey, we can still have fun. This is who I am, and I want to engage with you, right? Because if kids don't trust you, if students don't trust you, or students are only looking at you as the academic guy, then there's not really a whole lot of reason for them to engage with you beyond that. And we have students for 180 days a year. Like you need more than just, oh yeah, like you have to write this essay because I have to grade it and you need a grade. And that's not a great way to build the rapport.
Yeah, I mean, you become a boring person. Who
Yeah.
wants to be around a boring person, right? Even with your friends, we always talk about all these other aspects of life, but teaching is the same way, right? Would you
Yeah.
want to be around somebody that's just constantly nagging you about something, or would you rather be around somebody who you've built some type of rapport with, you know something about them, and you know that they're there for your best interest, all while having some fun, right? Like I
Yeah.
said, school has to be fun. We're there too long. A lot of the things I do, I don't do them because the students need them. I also do them because I need them.
Oh,
Like
for sure.
it's almost me first, right? And it's like that is what's gonna get me through the day because you're also there with them as well.
Well, yeah, you know, you talk about like some of it's for you. The Jenga days, like spoiler alert, kids, if you're listening to this and you were in my class, like the Jenga days are also for me too, because I get to either play with y'all or I get to watch and like kind of like engage. Like it's a team building. Like yeah,
Or like yeah, or decompress.
yeah,
You know,
we're going over Frankenstein, but at the same time, like you're playing a game and you're talking to me about things. And oh, by the way, this is what happened in chapter 7. Oh yeah, cool. I like your shoes. Oh no, it's a whole thing. Like
yeah,
that's what school should be, right?
100%, and that's what the kids will always gravitate to. You know, they think about it as a game, but in reality, you're kind of tricking. It's a salesman in me, right? That's
Yeah,
how I knew I would be good at teaching because I knew I was a good salesman because at Geico I was top. So when I got there, I was like, oh, I'm just selling education. I could sell anything.
yeah,
Education isn't that hard. So it was how do you sell this? And it became pretty easy at some point where it was just like, okay, I could just go and do this. But yeah, they think they're playing Jenga, but you've already sold them and they're getting educated at the same time.
yeah. And I guess that's the thing to talk about, like, depending on who the audience is on this one, like teachers, students, like it is a sales job. And you're being sold something here that has benefit. And so I think sometimes, because I know I felt this way as a kid, maybe you're a little bit different. I always felt like, yeah, the teacher is the expert, but I didn't really connect that they understood how to build a classroom and how to make things work and go in order up until I became a teacher. And then I was like, oh, this is actually there's an intent behind this. And so I have honed that craft over the years. Were you the same way as a kid? Like, did you see what your teachers were doing, or did you get sold and you went along and played Jenga?
Yeah, I just got sold.
Yeah,
Like I was just I've been good at doing like multiple things. I was a very good student. What happened was I got sidetracked doing things I shouldn't be doing, and mostly it was because my teachers weren't building rapport. That's just what it was, right?
yeah,
The higher up in education you go, the more independent you need to be. But some students don't need independence; they need guidance. And I just didn't have that guidance from any educator. No educator was giving it to me. So, you know, I always talk about the story. I went to this AP class and everyone was going somewhere. This guy was going to Berkeley. This one was going to Wisconsin. This one was going, everyone's full rides everywhere. And I'm like, man, I swear they're not much smarter than me. Like, you know, I swear I'm here with them. Like I can keep up. But where did I not get it? And you go back into their tracking and their schooling, and they just had these educators that really guided them.
yeah,
So when I came back to education, I was like, oh, I want to be that educator. I want to be that educator that sees somebody that doesn't need the independence, but the guidance and doesn't let them down, right? Because that's kind of where I got let down. And that's not to say I didn't succeed, but success for me was a lot more difficult than success for other people. Because
okay,
for me, you had to really want it at that point. When I went back to school, um, I was taking the bus for 2 hours, skating there. I had to wake up. I had a class at 8. I had to wake up at 5:30 to get there to take the bus to get there at 7 so I could be there, and then a 2 hour bus ride back for yeah. So like, how many people are doing that? How many young people are doing that?
yeah,
At that point, I had set myself so far back that it was kind of like, oh, you have to really want this now. You can't just go through the motions anymore. You're either going to go to school and prosper that way, or you're going to go and get a job and start, you know, working hard.
yeah,
But I always attribute that back to that guidance and just not having somebody that was guiding me to become a college educated student. Instead, I had to kind of figure out the puzzle pieces. And at that point, I was like, oh, I guess I got to skate there because I messed up.
That's wild. That's wild. I didn't realize you had all of that to get to school, right? Like, and again, we talk about priming, we talk about successes, and we talk about all the things that are there for kids and students. The idea that you needed that guidance is really huge,
Yeah,
and has set you on a pathway, right? But it's cool that you can tell that story.
yeah. I had a 2.1 in high school.
Man,
Yeah, I had a 2.1. They gave me my transcripts. I was like, man, this is gonna be like 3.8. I look at it, I think I had a 2.1. And I was
bro,
like, okay. You know what I had in college?
what's that?
A 3.8.
Hey, okay.
Yeah. You know what I had in my master's program?
Let me guess. You got a 4, 4.0.
A 4.0. You're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
the same kid? I mean, it just like, yeah, I did want it more, but at that point in my college career, I did have professors that were really guiding me and really, really like kind of helping me out.
yeah.
And that is the kind of educator I want to be.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's dude, that's an awesome story. I love the 2.1 to 3.8 to 4.0. Like that's a move. See, my GPA goes the opposite direction. I started out at the 3.8, 3.9 in high
Close,
school,
close.
and was like 3.2, 3.3 in college, and then 3.7 ish in the master's program. So I'm kind of an EKG monitor.
Yeah, no,
I need to be a little bit more motivated sometimes on some of that.
it wasn't even about being motivated. I didn't try any harder.
Yeah.
It was just I didn't have the guidance, you know. So
Okay.
I always look at my kids. They're just like, no, I'm not smart enough, and I'll go take them the transcripts. Like, look at this 2.1. Look at this two
Yeah.
one. Look at this 3.8. Look at this 4.0. You know that's the same person.
It's the idea of like imposter syndrome, right? Like we were giving out uh, advice at the beginning of the year about first day of school, right? I remember to your point about like oh this 2.1 GPA can do this. Like I remember being in front of my first classroom and feeling like how did I get here? Like how am I the guy in front of the room that's leading young minds? Like how does that work? And so that imposter syndrome with the right guidance actually goes a long way. And I feel like that's the way that it should be, right? Like with the right ingredients, you can do a lot of great things.
100% with the right ingredients. So let's talk about how we
Oh yeah,
became the ingredients because you wanted me to be on the podcast. Like you sent me the DM,
yeah,
and I'm very grateful for it. But how did we connect?
yeah. So we connected through. So I started my Instagram channel or my Instagram page. I keep calling it a channel, and that's a mess up on my part because I keep wanting to do like YouTube, I guess. But
Who
my
wants to do
Instagram page,
YouTube?
yeah.
YouTube coming next.
Oh, indeed. So I started my Instagram page in 2024, and I was taking pictures of what I wore on the daily and taking pictures of shoes that I had in my collection, just documenting. And a teacher reached out, Timothy Lee, Sneak Curriculum, reached out and was like, "Hey, you seem to like sneakers. You're a teacher. So am I. What do you know? I have a whole group chat on Instagram that we just we talk, we catch up, and we share what we're wearing and all this other stuff. It's a whole community, and I was so new to this at first that I almost didn't respond because I was like, "Bro, this can't be real. Like, there's only like so many of us that actually will wear." Tennis sneakers or basketball sneakers and t-shirts. Like I thought it was such a small group, right? And
Super niche.
yes, I felt like it was super niche, and it probably is. But the fact that my
Still is, yeah.
Instagram, yeah, the fact that my Instagram algorithm is effectively all of that now just shows you how niche it is. But so I responded to it, right? And I got added to the group chat, and you were in the group chat, and there's a good number of us that are pretty active, and you were one of the ones that was a little bit more active with your posts and with responses, and so little by little I started talking a little bit more, and uh, you at one point, because I was doing lesson plans to laces as a Instagram series, like a little Instagram short, and there was a break where I didn't do a bunch, like I think I went like 6 weeks without doing one. And I remember that you posted in the chat, you're like, I'm waiting on more lesson plans to laces. When are you going to do more? It's my favorite. And I was like, bro, people actually watch this and like do more than just scroll. So it was what inspired me to do more. I started doing weekly content, trying to do a little bit more outfits of the day, some more lesson plans to laces. And then I got the bright idea to try and take this to the next level. And I saw that you do really great content. And so I had reached out to you like, hey, are you interested in doing this with me? And what were your thoughts? Like, what did you think of that DM? Because at that point, it's out of my hands. It's into you.
Oh well, yeah, and I understand that because it. I told you, it's almost like asking a girl to be your girlfriend, right? Like you got butterflies in your stomach, or asking your wife to marry, your girlfriend to marry you, right? Like you don't know where it's gonna go, but you're so vulnerable at that point that if I had said no, who knows if this even happens, right? Because you might have just been like, so hurt or something like that. Not to say that
I'd
that
probably left the group chat. I'd have probably left the group chat. I'm just throwing that out there.
no, so
Comment.
I understand that people are vulnerable when they say that, but I also take it as, wow, he really chose me because he sees something, and it would be criminal for me to say no because I can't see what you see. Same thing as when everyone else was telling me you'd be a great teacher. And I was like, nah, nah, nah. I don't want to do it because you guys say I'm going to be great. I don't want to do what you guys say. I can't see what they were seeing, but what they saw was correct. So at this
Okay.
point in my maturity and in my age, sometimes you got to let these things, they're blessings. For somebody to ask you like, "Hey, I want to do this thing with you," is special. So I definitely was gonna say yes. I think I responded really quick. Like let's run it, right? Let's see
Yeah.
what you got. Let's see what we can do, because yeah, it's an honor to even be asked. Like I mean, it's not like we're like the most popular people ever or anything, but at the same time, like for anyone to ask you to do something with them because they obviously respect you or value your opinion is incredible. So I would have never said no because I respect you. I know you have a vision here and you just needed another piece and you thought that piece was me. So let's see where we can take it.
By all means, man, and I appreciate you saying yeah and bringing your insight on it and all the conversations that we're going to have in the future because this is going to be a recurring podcast. This will be something that I'm hoping to do at worst biweekly, and where we can talk about different things. Like today, we've hit on the first day of school procedures, right? Like setting up priming and setting up our background, right? All of that stuff. If you've been through school, you know that teachers always are going to introduce themselves on first day, and of course, they're going to have to, in our case, have a great pair of sneakers on too, right? Like that's got to be the thing. What as our closeout today, what is your opening day fit? What do you usually bring? What if you had to think to what's going to happen for next school year? What's going to be the pair you wear on day one?
Shoot. So I was actually going to ask this question.
Oh
Uh,
man, I beat you
opening
to it.
day, opening day sneakers, right? Opening day.
Yeah,
Well, it's first day of school. Sorry, I'm a
sure.
baseball guy.
That's
First
fair.
day of school sneakers. Do they have to be an unds?
Ooh, that's a
Because
great
for
question.
me, I think they do. Right?
Okay.
I think. Well, it just takes you back to your youth. And again, I didn't come from money, so um, my first day sneakers back in the day were the sneakers I bought during the summer. That was going to be my one pair for the whole year,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
So you always unds that pair the first day of school, and
for
obviously
sure.
you beat through them. So now I usually will unds a pair. So I don't necessarily know what pair will be that pair because I don't know what pair I'm getting. Maybe it'll be that Ronnie uh, New Balance, but that is a red shoe, and I usually wear those on Tuesdays.
Okay.
But it will probably be a new unds pair, so a brand
Okay.
new pair that I'm rocking for the first day.
Yeah, the second you said an unds pair, I was like, well, we still have a whole summer that stuff's coming out. And I was going to ask you about the New Balance and Kith because I know you are a Kith guy, and that first of all, you like the red pair more than the green pair.
Yes, I like the red pair more than the green pair, mostly because I can get more wear out of that pair because that'll
Okay,
be like a Tuesday pair, that'll be like we're out there picketing pair, like
okay,
we're on strike. Like I get more use out of the red pair than the green pair. If I was at my old school, the green pair would get more use because I wear school colors.
oh, okay,
Um, so it really depends on where I'm at. One of the reasons I like kids so much was it was getting very hard to wear Supreme at school as an elementary school teacher. So Ronnie was making these crazy collabs like Simpsons and stuff, and that stuff is very easy to wear at schools. And it is part of what I like. I like the Simpsons. I like
Yeah.
Fruity Pebbles, like those things were me, but I could also wear them at school. Whereas like, you're getting a Supreme like shirt and it says like F the world or something. You're like, okay, this is like a weekend shirt.
Yeah.
If at
Oh yeah.
all, right?
That's fair. That's fair. Well, you mentioned my location uh, has like the dress codes a little bit deeper, and I get special dispensation at that campus to wear sneakers. Like it's a rule that the head of school had put in, and so if I was going back for this school year, I don't have to unds a pair, but I don't know. I think I have to bring the heat, and I would have to bring either I have a pair of Jordan 4 Bread Reimagines that I think are easily recognizable, and kids will be like, okay, you've got some game. Um, but I like loud colors. And so I don't know. The loudest pair of shoes I have is my Adidas Jeremy Scott Wings, the Motorsports. Those are loud, and I would wear them to get the attention and then be like, okay, we're going to lock it in on day 2 for an Air Jordan 1.
Speaking of loud shoes,
Yeah.
we need to talk about those yellow boots. Throw those things in the garbage.
The duck boots. Oh, the duck boots. I hope a couple of my friends are listening to this part of the podcast. If you've made it this far, you need to go and find on my channel or on my page. It's a page. The duck boots, man. Factory Lab, the duck boots. Those are a pair. I wear that pair every year to a certain specific event. So you got to know the point. The point is, first of all, I did buy them honestly. I was like, oh, these actually like be a decent like
Ain't no way. There's no way.
I was like, oh, these be. You know what? You know what it was. Do you remember the Mischief Red Boots?
Yes.
Like when those went viral, and then these kind of followed it up. Like a little under a year later, I was like, okay, so if loud is my game, and obnoxious is my game, then these fit the bill. And when they came in, Goose, when I tell you I unboxed them and my wife was like, "What in the act?" Like she was not excited. And no, I wear them every year to this Bruceology event at the Natural Science Museum. And every year it's a brew fest where there's a bunch of different breweries and they take over the 4 floors of the Natural Science Museum. And I have worn those every year, and it has become a oh you're back, and like a cop this year, like the security guard opening the door for everybody was like, oh you're back, I love it, I love the shoes, and it's like a conversation starter. So they are
Wait, but,
purposely designed to get attention.
but why do you wear those to that thing?
So I wore it with the group that I go with. It's my wife and I, and then 2 other members of our family. They also go to that ensemble too, and they like the stranger pairs of shoes that I have. And so when I bought them and I showed them off, they were like, "Oh, you should wear those," because the Brewfest was coming up, and they're like, "You should wear it to the Brewfest." And immediately we did kind of like a prop bet that night, and the prop bet was how many people are going to stop you to talk about your shoes. And they set the line at like 10 because they were like, I mean, it's lots happening. People may not notice, bro. It was like 30 to 40 that first year. And so the fact that it was a fun kind of thing has turned it into, we've gone to that event now 3 straight years. And the fact that it has become like just part of our routine, because we hang out with those 2 people an awful lot. We go places, we travel together. And for us, that's like a routine now that event has to have those sneakers. Like I literally went back into our storage unit to get them because they're not here. I went back into our storage unit to go and get them for that event. That was a couple weeks ago.
Should have left them there.
Oh, they will. They will probably not make the trip overseas, man. They are not going to make that trip overseas. They will be the last thing that comes over. I am pretty confident that my wife is going to try and find a way to magically lose those shoes. I'm going to throw it out there.
That is so funny you brought that up because I used to have this girl shirt. The skateboard brand Girl,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
Eric Costin. It had like
Yeah.
the girl like the bathroom stall thing in front.
Okay.
And that was like my favorite shirt because it was like my most expensive shirt. I think I was like 13, 14 at the time, maybe 15. And we used to jump fences to skate inside schools, oddly enough, right? and it used to get stuck on the top of the fences, so it had holes everywhere, and like you
Okay.
could see my stomach, you could see all this stuff. But I love that shirt. And my then girlfriend, I think I was like 18, 19. My then girlfriend hated that shirt, and everyone hated that shirt. Not because the shirt was ugly, but because it had holes everywhere. Like I think I was basically like ragtag at that point, but it was my favorite shirt. That thing ended up missing one day. I don't even know where it went. I'm guessing
Oh
it went right in the
no.
trash.
No. What is the line from Rick and Morty? I've seen what makes you people clap. I'm gonna continue to do this anyway. Like that's like 90% of the duck boots wearing at this point is like I understand you want me to wear shoes that are not gonna draw attention, but no, I'm gonna make this be uncomfortable for everyone.
Yeah, I almost feel like that's it now. Like you're just like, no, I know people hate them, and I'm gonna wear them because everyone hates them, and I'm gonna rock them the way I want to. And I think you got to respect that as well.
Because that's the funniest thing is at that festival they're always like people the first question people ask is first of all what are those like that you have to you have these giant shoes on but then the second thing they go is are they comfortable and jokes on y'all they actually are comfortable I'm not gonna lie like they do ride a little high on my shins but that's because I got short legs and so I mean it's more about me being short than it is about the shoe I think because not every shoe is meant for everybody but no, they do ride a little high on my shins, and but no, they actually are like comfortable on feet, so it's good
And
for a whole night.
I'm not, I'm just trying to, do poke fun a little bit just because we're friends and all that stuff. But don't go on my page thinking I'm exempt from bad shoes. Like I have shoes that people wouldn't wear either. I understand that too. It's just those boots are like on a different level. Like those things are they're S tier troll boots because you're just wearing them to like get everyone's reaction.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
but don't go on my page to talk about like I can't believe this guy's wearing this. Talk about the boots because every different strokes. Everyone likes everything different. So I do understand. I have some shoes that are hideous as well.
Oh yeah, no, and I would say that and maybe this is not the case for you, but I think that the louder my colors are on my sneakers, like the more attention and the more conversation it gets. Like I will not wear the duck boots to school because a whole 8 hour teaching day that's obscene. Plus, my classroom was on the second floor of a building. I'm not climbing stairs in those. Like that's impossible. Like that's a horrendous. That's an image nobody needs, right? But like, yeah, it's an attention thing, and it comes back to rapport right? Like I want the conversation. I want people to notice. And yeah, I mean they are objectively ugly. I'm not gonna lie. It's a
Would
tough shoe to
you
pull off.
would you have worn those to school like no problem?
So we had pep rally days, and I remember there was a point where they did like class colors, and the class that I was teaching was juniors at the time, and or I was teaching juniors and seniors, and I had the ability to kind of mix and match the colors, and I was like, oh, juniors are yellow. I could totally wear the duck boots for the pep rally. And see what's happening. And it was one of those days where, like the day before, because I start picking out my stuff the week before, or like the week of, right, the Monday of. And so pep rallies are on Friday. And one of the student council students came and asked, like, "Hey, will you be involved in the game for the pep rally?" And then I was like, "Oh, the game requires running. I am not running in the duck boots. That's not going to happen." So I scrapped the duck boots immediately, and I think I wore the Jordan 4 Lightnings for it instead, which is objectively a better choice. But like
100% a better choice and a better shoe.
objectively, yeah, objectively a better choice. But I had actually told my wife I was like, I think I'm going to wear the duck boots at school, and she was like, "Are you ready for the fallout that's going to happen?" She goes, "It's September. Can you recover and spend the next 160 days recovering from those shoes?" And I did not consider that. That's true. I should have
That
considered that part.
I bring it up. I know you want to end, but I bring it up because there was this guy. I wore the Mankind Palace um, WWE collab,
Oh
and it's
wow,
a tie dye shirt.
yeah.
And he commented on my TikTok, like I work with. He said, "I won't wear anything that'll get me roasted."
Ooh,
And in my mind, I'm like, "There's no roasting me, my guy. Like, there's no way." So that's why I wanted to ask you because I understand that they're going to say something.
yeah.
But if you are scared of your kids roasting you, how can you ever be yourself?
For sure. Oh,
Yeah,
there have been some objectively ugly shoes that I have worn. Either the color's off. I've had kids tell me I'm not matching. Like the color scheme is off. Like they've stopped our whole priming. The success today means they're like, "Can we talk about your fit today? Because you don't match." And I'm like, "Pause. No, 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 no. We're not going to do that today." Like I went into this. Like I went in to make this work. So they especially the longer I was at that last campus, like they started getting a little bit more into it, and I won't say bold, but like they were into it, and so
it,
it's an attention game, man.
it's also funny how like I thought that fit that I wore, which was the Palace tie dye shirt with
Mankind,
sweats,
yeah,
with the Mankind with the black sweats and the Tom Sachs Mars Yard, no, the Tom Sachs the general purpose shoe in the yellow. I thought
yeah,
that was a great fit. There's definitely other fits that you could have been like, yeah, I'm not wearing that because I'm gonna get roasted. But I don't
yeah,
think that was the fit because it's tie dye. I
yeah.
think one of the special things about working in elementary is that we have like tie dye days, which is why I wore that shirt.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
how are you gonna get roasted on a tie dye day?
Nah, you're not wrong. That's fair. Although I'll say this as our close, it is wild on a pep rally day or a dress up day to have to sit in on an IEP or a parent meeting because I'm sorry if I've got like a clown wig and a red nose and the duck boots on and I'm having to talk to a parent about yeah Susie didn't do well on the last essay. I'm sorry, hold on, and you know you've got like this ridiculous tie dye shirt on. It it's part of the job, man. So
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you 100% because I have to do that sometimes. I'm like, hey man, can you move this IEP to like Thursday? Because that's like just tie dye day. It's not like wear some crazy thing. It's not crazy hair day or something like that. Like,
yeah,
can we just move it one day because then I won't look like a complete fool. But
right.
again, it's part of the job. Like,
Yeah.
the kids are into it. Um, Even sometimes when you go into the IEPs and you're part of that and they're like, oh, it's crazy hair day. I like the way your hair is. Um, they know that you're bought into. So it makes it special for them too to know that their kid's teacher is also, participating in these things. Um, so it is special, but I just wanted to bring up the yellow boots because things are wild.
Oh yeah, no, they are definitely wild, and they would not be a first day of school. They would not be a first day of school thing because again, you could not recover from that. So, but yeah, this has been fun, and like I said, we're gonna do more of these. They may not be as long as an hour, but I figure every other week we'll talk about something. Today we talked about first days of school and priming and how do you set things up for success and just kind of hopefully setting this podcast up for some success. So, as
Yeah, I
always,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, run it out.
Oh yeah, nah, it's all good. As always, this is James. It's Jalador on all social medias.
I'm Mr. Guzman. I'm Teacher Heat on all social medias.
All right, and we will see you guys next time on From Lesson Plans to Laces.
Peace.